right, Joellen. I know you like tropical plants, don't
Yes, tropical plants.
you? So let's talk a little bit about those tropical plants.
Yeah, and now, Chris, most tropical plants, all of them bloom and set fruit.
Okay.
But there's a lot of them that are just grown for their foliage, and we're going to go over some of those first.
Good.
First one are the elephant ears, or the alocasias, or
I like those.
the colocasia. This is a colocasia here, and xanthosomas. You know, they are anywhere from 2 feet to 6 feet tall. Some of the leaves just get larger as the plant gets bigger, like the elephant ears. They like full sun to shade. Anything in between, moist, well-drained soil. But one thing you've got to remember, if you've got kids and plants, you got to remember that these are toxic to humans and to pets. So you got to be careful where you plant them if you have kids and pets. And
Glad you mentioned that.
Yeah. So, and then there are gingers, and this one here is a ginger. This is the variegated shell ginger. And this one looks kind of bad because I actually had this and kept it over winter. And so it hasn't grown enough this season to be able to take out the bad parts of it that have damaged the leaves from taking it in and outside the garage all winter long. So I was able to keep it and enjoy it for another year.
But otherwise,
it's just perfectly fine, yeah. Okay. And this is the Alpinia variegated shell ginger. There is also a tricolor ginger. This is a different variety from a different family. And then they are about 2 to 3 feet tall in height. Of course, the variegated leaves means that it can take a little more sun than some of the others. But all of them like moist, well-drained soil.
Okay. There's a pattern here, right?
But yeah, you're going to hear this a lot. Moist, well-drained soil. Next are the palm trees. Palm trees range from 2 feet to 10 feet plus. So any size of palm tree, their fronds are beautiful, give a different look to the landscape. They like sun to partly sunny, and some will even take more shade than a lot of the other tropicals.
Okay. Can we actually grow palm trees here at our zone?
Actually, there are a few. Yeah, there are a few that will live through the winter here.
Okay.
Sometimes when we get the zone 6 winter, it will kill them to the ground, and sometimes they come up and sometimes they don't.
Wow. Okay.
But there are a few that we can keep here.
Okay.
Next, Hawaiian tea plant, the cordylands. Bright pink, a plant that actually can take the shade and be colorful in the shade. In fact, the more sun it gets, it'll turn more green, and if it's in too deep of shade, it will turn green.
How about that?
But there's a happy medium in between that it likes, and it's bright pink and burgundy, and it's just gorgeous.
That's interesting, though. Yeah, in the sun.
Yeah.
Green. Okay.
Sometimes like this tree, this one here, you see the leaves are burned probably because it got too wet in the winter.
Okay.
This is caused by too wet. That's mostly the first sign of too wet, is that the leaves will start turning these weird colors.
That's good. Okay.
So just watch out for that. And next, bananas.
Yeah. Okay.
There are all kinds of new banana varieties out there. They don't produce bananas necessarily. They're grown for ornamentals. Okay. And they're about 2 to 3 feet tall. And in mass in a bed, they look really nice. And by themselves, they look nice. Yeah. And then, of course, you can get other banana varieties that are even taller, so up to 10 or more feet. Yeah. Around here, I've seen people that had them, and they cut them back, and they come back. Some of them are perennial, some of them are annual, but they're all Musa species, and they have very large leaves. It's kind of a nice dramatic addition to your landscape. Like moist, well-drained soil, sun to part sun. They're a good addition. And then you've got dracaenas.
Oh, yeah.
Now that's going to be a very popular, but mostly what I see for the outdoors are the marginata types, the very spiky, thin-leaved ones. Okay. And they're usually variegated or green, or usually a dark red color.
I've seen the dark red color.
And they put them in containers with other plants. And that's how usually those are used. They get about 2 feet tall. Again, sun to partly sunny areas. And the more color it has, the more sun it can take.
Okay.
So, yeah. It also is toxic to humans and to pets. Then we've got crotons. Everybody knows crotons. They are one of the sunniest, most bright. It makes you smile when you see them because they're so colorful and cheerful looking. They like sun to partly sunny areas. They're 1 to 3 feet tall. They mix well with others, but one of the things I say well-drained soil, and you kind of put an underline and it's highlighted for this one because the number one cause of it failing for anybody is because it gets too wet.
Too wet, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That people like it too much and they water and think, oh, well, it needs water. Well, not necessarily. It likes to be kind of the dry side.
Yeah, I like them.
But also one thing to know about them is of all of the plants, they are probably the most toxic of all of the tropical plants.
That I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah, they got a milky kind of sap in them that's very toxic to people and to pets.
Oh, wow, okay.
So if you got a place to put them out of the way where nobody's going to get to them, then I think they're wonderful. Next is copper plant, and I have one of these here. I love this. This is so pretty. The burgundy, it's got bright pink flames on it, and they can have yellow on them and white, and they are just very variegated, but they do very well. And of course, that is a Califa species. It's part of the Califa family. See the blooms on it that kind of remind you of the Califa.
Got it, okay.
Yeah. So they are very brilliant and bright in the landscape and do well in the ground or in containers, wherever you want to put them. And again, well-drained soil. Don't overwater them. Don't overwater them. Now, that's most of the tropicals that are, just grown for foliage.
Okay.
Now let's talk about some that bloom too, that we really like the blooms on
right.
it. And that's going to be hibiscus.
Yeah.
This one down here, nice pink. They come in all colors, reds, whites, yellows, oranges, doubles, singles, you name it. Beautiful, 2 to 4 feet tall. Again, well-drained soil. And, all of the ones that bloom could benefit from some supplemental fertilizer throughout the growing season. Maybe once a month, put some fertilizer on it. Okay. Next is mandevilla. Mandevillas can either be a vine or a bush. It comes in whites, reds, and pinks.
Love. I usually see them out by mailboxes. Like my neighbor has one out by her mailbox.
That's why they do well, because how often do you water around your mailbox?
Yeah,
So,
right.
A lot of these plants do well with being a little dry.
Right, okay.
In between their waterings. Shrimp plant, that's the one, there's yellows and kind of a pale red color.
Okay.
And so they do well also, well-drained soil, sun to partly sunny areas, does good. And then, of course, one that bougainvillea. We can't not talk about bougainvillea because the blooms on it are vibrant and gorgeous. The only thing I can say beware of is that it has thorns.
Yeah.
It has thorns.
Yeah.
So beware of that, and just put it in an area where you don't brush up against it all the time because you might get stuck by one of its thorns.
It is a beautiful plant.
It's beautiful. And then, of course, the last one that you can see a lot of around here is bird of paradise.
Oh, yeah.
And even when they don't bloom, I think the foliage is beautiful in containers and again, bigger leaves and give a different texture. They grow more upright, whereas the colocaceae, you can see, have them kind of sweep down with their leaves. So you get all these different textures and colors to really, really add a tropical feel to your garden.
No, that is good. That is good. So again, well-drained.
Well-drained soil.
Yeah, because we talk, but somebody's probably thinking, but these are tropical plants, but they still need well-drained soils.
Well, think in the tropics, it's sandy, it's organic, it rains, and then it dries out. So that's the kind of environment that these like.
Sure.
And if they're not happy, sometimes they get diseases and
so let's talk about those diseases.
Yeah. Well, of course, the number one disease, root rot.
Figured that
Stem rot, crown rots. Yeah. Too wet conditions cause all of those problems.
Okay.
And then the bugs, mealybugs, spider mites, your
aphids,
aphids, some scales sometimes. But usually the plant's stressed somehow, either not enough sun or too wet conditions, and they catch these things. But they're easy to control with neem oils and insecticidal soaps and things like that.
Those low-impact pesticides is what I recommend for those pests. All right, Joe, that was good. It's good. We can tell you like tropical plants.
I love
don't you?
tropical plants.
Thank you much. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please click the subscribe button below.